watch this before buying your kids' next school shoes, because the wrong shoes can do more harm than you think. In this video, you're going to see what is the problem with the current school shoes, why barefoot shoes make sense. We're going to explore modern shoes versus barefoot options, and I'm going to rate them for you so it's easier when you're buying. And I'm going to teach you 3 important points that will always help you choose the right shoes for your kids or for yourself. Let's get into it. And this is not sponsored by any brand. This is just me giving you free advice based on my knowledge. This video is part of my project to see more kids at the park with barefoot shoes. Okay, let's dive straight into the problem. First of all, modern shoes have very stiff soles, which reduces natural foot movement. Second, most of them have very narrow toe boxes, which again reduces natural foot movement and prevents the foot staying in its natural position, which is with spread toes. Squeezed toes can also affect your child's posture, their hip alignment, how they walk, their foot development, foot strength, and many more. Last but not least, most of modern shoes are overly cushioned, which prevents the foot from being in its natural foot position. But it also reduces the sensory feedback going to the brain, which is crucial for development and coordination. Why barefoot shoes matter? Explained. They have a wide toe box, which means the toes of your child, or even your toes, have space to grow freely. This helps the feet to grow stronger and in time develops a better posture. Second of all, barefoot shoes are flexible. They don't have stiff soles, which means the sensory input from the ground will be much better, which helps develop strength and coordination. Again, helps with the posture, hip alignment. It promotes better balance and agility. And most importantly, the muscles of the foot are working. And last but not least, barefoot shoes have a natural shape, which means there is freedom for the feet to grow. They're not overly cushioned. They help the foot receive sensory feedback from the ground, hence will help your child move better. So let me give you a few examples. I'm going to start with the most popular school shoes in the UK. So first of all is the Asda option. They do look quite stiff. The toe box doesn't look as wide as I want it to be, but they're just £18, which is quite affordable, and I understand. Next, we've got the next option, which looks better. I do think this sole is a little bit more flexible than the Asda option. You do have extra wide options, which is really good. I would look for that. And the price is between £18 and £26, which again, I understand, it's really affordable. Now I'm looking into the next option, which is quite similar to the Nike Air Force ones, I think. There are no width options, which is not great. The sole looks quite thick and quite stiff, which is something I do not recommend. The price is between £25 and £32, which is reasonable. The Adidas option is really quite popular in the UK. Again, very similar to the Nike one. Very cushioned and quite a thick sole, which looks very stiff. I don't think there is enough space for the toes either. And there are no extra wide options. It's between £23 and £28, which is again affordable. Next, we got the modern shoes that are not so popular, but not so affordable as well. Kickers. There is no wide option. By the looks of it, not sufficient toe box space. It looks quite stiff and unflexible, which is not great. £46, I wouldn't give them. I just wouldn't. Next, we've got the Nike Air Force, I think, option. It is so popular. Like, I do see every kid, every child, every teenager, even my partner has them. It's such a popular option. Yes, they look good, but I do not think they have sufficient wide toe space. Also, the sole is quite thick and quite stiff. I wouldn't recommend that for a child's development. They're 50 quid. 50 quid not such a reasonable price. I just wouldn't go for them. But they do look durable though. A very prestigious UK brand, Start Right. We do have their option. What I do like for them is that they give you wide and extra wide. Don't like the sole. It looks like there is arch support, which I wouldn't recommend. It looks quite thick and not so flexible. So the only good thing about them is probably durability and the option that they give you wide and extra wide. They do cost £65 though, which is not a very reasonable price. We have another Start Right option. They do seem to have wide and extra wide, which I like about them. The leather looks really good, that's fine. The sole of the shoe, again, looks a bit like there is arch support, and I wouldn't recommend that. It does look stiff, so again, that is not great. It's advertised as comfort. It does say that the sole has been tested, it bends and stretches. All right, so there is some flexibility there, probably. It is 52 quid, which I don't think I would give, no. Let's dive into some barefoot options for comparison. First, we've got the Barefoot vegan option. It's great. It's not leather, so it might not be great for a rainy day, but I do think it's a really good and affordable option. It's only 40 quid. Then we've got the Boom Guard. I really like Boom Guard. My son has a pair. They are leather. They don't look so great. I mean, I've seen better, but they're only 39 quid. So I'd say that's affordable. Also, I think they're quite durable. Next, we've got the Hobby Bear, which is a leather option. It's still gonna be okay in the rain. It does look like a very durable option, and it's only £36, which is really great. Next, we've got the Lenka. Lenka is a very good barefoot brand. This model in particular is leather, so I'd say that's quite durable. And I do believe this is one of their not super barefoot options, so it's kind of transitional, I think. It's €49, which is probably around £40, which is not bad as a price. Next, we've got the Bobux Alpha. Now, I've never seen those in person. They do look really good. I do like that the sole is not so flat, so this will give some good grip. Leather, they look great, to be fair. If I had a girl, I would get her some. They're £60 though, which is a bit more than I'd like, but they're leather and I'm pretty sure they're quite durable. Next is the Feel Ground, which is leather. It looks really good. However, it's €70, so that's a bit more than I'd like, but it's still a really, really durable and good option. It's time for my absolute favorite, Frodo. My son has over 5 pairs of Frodo barefoot shoes. He's killing them. I have Frodo barefoot shoes as well, and they're just so good, so good. There's no advertisement or whatsoever here. This is just me and my personal opinion. So these Frodo ones are leather, which is amazing because they'll be good for the rain. It's just £53, which is again a little bit more than I'd like, but it is such a durable and such a good option, so I definitely recommend those. Of course, Vivo Barefoot. The Vivo Barefoot option is amazing as per usual. It's leather, it looks so good, so durable. The outsole looks good for grip, and they're £70, which is more than I'd like, of course, but this is the brand as well. So let's talk about some brands that may advertise as barefoot, flexible, or good for development, but you should be careful. Not always what's on the advert is the truth. So let me explain. Camper is a really amazing brand, and they do have barefoot options, but not all of their shoes are barefoot, so you need to be cautious. This camper model, for example, it looks really good, not gonna lie. It is leather. It looks really durable, really nice. However, you do not have sufficient toe space. You definitely do not have a flexible sole. Cost £49, which is kind of alright, but I wouldn't recommend them. Next, we've got the Clarks option, and very similar to Camper. It is such a good brand. Very classic, very prestigious, and really durable, good shoes. They do have some barefoot options, like the early walkers, I think they're called. However, not all of their shoes are barefoot, and not all of their shoes, I'd say, promote natural foot movement. Clark's option is a bit narrow at the toes for me personally, but they do have wide options, which is a good thing. They look really durable, they're leather, and I haven't seen that in person. I do not think the sole is super flexible, which is not great. They do cost between £42 and £44, which is a reasonable price for a good quality shoe. We've got another Clarks option, very similar to the Nike Air Force. It does not have wide options. It is with a very thick sole. I am sure it is not flexible at all. It is leather and it does look very durable, but I wouldn't recommend this for natural foot movement. I wanted to touch on a few options that are really affordable. They're non-barefoot, but they can do the job, I think. This Decathlon option is just £15. It is leather. It does seem like it's with a flexible sole. It does have over cushioning in my opinion, but the toe box looks wide, and for this price, £15, I think this is a good option for something that can do the job. It's not as bad as, for example, the Nike ones. Another thing that I wanted to point out, I do like that Start Right give you wide and extra wide options. At least your child could have space for toes, which is crucial. It's one of the 3 most important things. I think some of the Start Right options can do the job, even though they're not barefoot. Now, if I have to rate, I'd say a really, really affordable option. I think the Decathlon ones, the next ones, are number 1 for me. If I'm going for barefoot, really good quality, I will get the Vivo Barefoot option. If I'm going for a more affordable but still barefoot, I would definitely go for the Frodo, an option that is affordable and barefoot. I'd go for the Hobby Bear. I really do like the Barefoot Vegan as well. Now, this is just my personal opinion based on my knowledge and experience with barefoot shoes so far. There are, of course, so many other options out there. I am definitely creating a spreadsheet or a guide that can help you pick. In the description, you can find all the shoes that we just talked about rated by me. And let me know if it would be useful for you to create a guide that could help you choose between different barefoot options. I want to point out, in my opinion, you always have to check Vinted, because very often there are some really, really good barefoot options there for a much lower price. I personally buy a lot of stuff secondhand from Vinted and I absolutely love it. So it's really important to remember the 3 points we talked about, and those are wide toe box, natural foot shape, flexible and not overly cushioned sole, right? Please let me know in the comments what shoes are your favorites. Have you explored barefoot options before? And if not anything, please do remember the 3 key points we talked about when choosing a shoe. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am open to any feedback. As usual, please let me know anything that you think I can improve in my videos or anything you'd like to see more of. Don't forget to wear barefoot shoes, and see you at the next one. You can also check my other YouTube video where I talk about why barefoot shoes are important for your health. Please like and subscribe, comment, and share this video to someone who might need it. Stay tuned for more. prevents the foot being in its natural position once again, and also prevents it from getting crucial sensory feedback from the thousands of neurons. And okay. Again, I have this flipping issue of doing a whole scene and not filming myself. Why not pressing the play button? Anyway, it's okay. We move on. If we go for a really affordable, if I go for